Right, we're going to try and fit in today's game of rapid chess. Okay, 1713. Good luck. Is my audio all right? I think it should be loud enough to hear. I'll go back to the regular Caro for this one. So we've not played before. Opponent, 2,000 games of rapid, very good. Now, taking with a pawn is the correct book move here. Sometimes I go with a queen to get out of the more standard theory, but it's already about +1 for white if you do that. Now I can check here, knight gets development. I can just play up, I can play up here. Knight up, knight down, bishop up I think is fine. Yeah, let's just do that and develop. If knight in, I'll just develop, and he spent an extra move moving his knight. Okay. So now I think we're okay to play bishop up here. We can quickly hit the bishop. I might get my theory wrong, of course. I can easily mess up any game. But now I'm just going to try and get the bishop and castle. It's a case of whether he wants to trade here or come back and target the king. And you've got to watch out for tricks here with knight up and takes in some lands because of this pin. Just depends how it pans out. Okay, so he's played forward, so it gives me a natural development move with bishop up, and then it prepares castling. We can take back. Well, he's moved the queen forward, so we can take, we can drop the bishop back with tempo and just gently pressure the pawn and put it on a better diagonal. But if we take here now, actually if you take with a queen, it would have been nice if we could take here, but we can't, can we? So I think we should just castle then, and then see what he's going to do. Right, now that's the concept. Takes, and if queen takes, we can grab a pawn. So it just depends how white wants to play this now. What ideas he got in mind. He might want c3, bishop back to c2 around the angles. That might be his idea, but we do have bishop f5 potentially. Oops. It's a little bit far away there. So he's just trying to come up with a plan. I think he might look at something like this, that sort of idea to put pressure on. With a view to then maybe taking at some point. But I do have bishop back right now. That's the sort of concept I'm looking at. But I'm also threatening to simply take here. If you go with a queen or take, if you go with a pawn, your king's structure is messed up. It might prove to be nothing at all. But that's the concept I'm looking at. Even h6, I guess, is a move. h3 might be for white, but I think we just take the knight. Okay, he's thinking a heck of a long time, actually, isn't he? He's still connected, I believe. It says excellent connection there. I've not had any message come up to say he's disconnected to claim a victory, so I'm assuming he's connected to the game. But this is a bit too long, I think. Okay, he does take, so it's just automatic, essentially, to take back there. Knight in is fine. I think maybe queen up to pressure the pawn. Although queen here could be better to guard the bishop as well. And then if he takes, then we're able to take back. So queen here, and if bishop here, then I can come up. Takes, I can take. So back now, if he takes here, then gain a queen, lose a queen, gain a pawn. Well, lose a pawn, gain a queen, lose a queen, gain a pawn. And his knight's here. And he's got 2 squares to go back to. And I could just simply take and develop. Although my bishop would be loose, wouldn't it? Yeah, now let's just keep it simple and don't overthink it and burn all the clock. I'm still up a minute on the clock now after that long think he's done. But has he spotted some sort of clever tactic? Like, is he looking at a move like queen across? But there's no knight check, though. I can drop the bishop back if I need to. Has he found something really clever here? I might have to do this. Yeah, I'll pre-move in case he takes. Okay, he has dropped the bishop back, but this is where I need to drop back here. Now, is this a move first? I don't think so, so I think I drop back here. I'm quite happy to trade everything off. Might make it a bit easier for our opponent to play as well, of course, but we are a minute up on the clock, so in the end of the game it might make a difference. So I've pre-moved in case he takes the bishop. He doesn't, so we kind of have to drop back there. There's not really anything to think about there. So what's his idea now? We just put some pressure on the pawn. We could potentially take here knight eventually back. Obviously take with a bishop, I guess, and hit the queen. So I don't think we want to take there. So maybe c5. Excuse me. Okay, so he has indeed played queen across, so that kind of leads me to think rook over could be good to cement the pawn. Knight up is a potential move as well. So any reason not to play knight up? I don't see what I gain actually afterwards. So pawn up, but I like the idea rook across first. Just to solidify preparing the pawn push. So right now 3 would cover the square and only 2 would defend it. Knight back, I've got the option to take, well, actually no, knight back there, I'll just take the bishop. So c5 is my next candidate move depending on what he does, but knight up could be a move as well. h6 at some point. My opponent's got h3 in, so I'll need to play h6 at some point. Maybe g6, but probably h6. Then I just need to get my other rook into place somehow at some point. There is a potential actually, isn't there, for a5 to be thrown in, threatening bishop up, so that's a move as well. So he's completed his minor piece development, but a5 could be useful here. Stops a pawn push, and if he rushes with knight up, we've got bishop in. Although there is a potential discovery on our queen. But we'd hit a queen. Yeah, I like that. I like c5 straight away before he does this, but I like a5 as well. If he plays a3, I'll probably just push the pawn. If he covers this, it just creates a threat if the knight moves out the way. But there's equally a counter discovery threat on my own queen as well. Oh, he has moved the knight out the way, so that allows bishop up and we get the diagonal. So can this knight move somewhere useful? If he takes here, I simply take. I don't see it myself, so I think bishop up is my move. If the knight comes forward, I can take it either way, and if he doesn't, I could gain a queen, lose a queen, gain a rook, lose a bishop, so I'm going to play that move and get on the diagonal. See, I've just got to be careful just in case I'm missing something here, which I could be, of course. But I don't see any forward leap for the knight to create any devastation without my queen getting out the way, or just say, gain a queen, lose a queen, gain a rook, lose a bishop. Yeah, not an easy position for white, but there can always be something that I could miss, of course. So he has moved the queen out the way, so I assume I just simply take here. If the knight moves, I could even just take with a check and then get the queen out the way, depending on where he goes. But I see no reason not to take. Okay, but now I've got to move the queen, so I'm just looking at getting out the way, but it could get a little bit awkward here now. I've got to step out the way here. Does it matter actually if I go here or here? Well, knight in could be a move potentially, so I'll go here, hit the pawn. Then I might just look at knight or bishop forward. Okay, I've also got pawn up here or pawn up here. Actually, I like a4. I like a4 just to break this pawn structure up. And right now I'm glad I haven't played h6 because it might give him a chance to simply sack. Actually, why didn't I just take the pawn there? I just moved a tad bit quick there. I'm going to break the structure up, but there's a free pawn there I could have just taken as well. That was just being a bit careless, not paying attention. So now he's guarded, so I assume I just take, but I could just push this pawn as well. I've got knight up as well. Actually, knight up looks to be a nice nuisance move, doesn't it? Then it helps to prepare the pawn push as well. So I'm going to go forward there, hit the queen. I don't think he'll take here, but he could do, so I'll pre-move just in case. Okay, so he's gone back over. So now I like the idea of pushing here. I'm not sure if it creates danger opening the diagonal. But is there any trick? Up here takes, knight up, I don't see it. I should have taken that pawn while I had the chance. I should have done, but I didn't. So I'm going to throw c5 in now and try and activate my pieces. I want this rook into play at some point eventually. It's dangerous, this opening the diagonal up. It could go wrong, let's just see. See, right now he can't take because the queen would hang. Here, probably the rook, but you've got to watch out for some sort of move. Even though it's not on right now, you could move out the way and forget about it. But knight takes, I don't see what I'd be gaining if I put the knight on c5. Okay, so he's gone across to attack my bishop. So I guess I can just drop back here, and if either knight takes, I'd be happy to take. That looks logical and common sense, but I could maybe just take here and allow this, but everything is kind of collapsing, isn't it? So no, I think I just drop back here. Hold on, let's not pre-move that. Although I don't think there's any realistic, sensible way to take with the f-pawn, but you still got to consider it. If either take here, we do hit the bishop. The bishop could drop back and guard the pawn, I guess, maybe here. So yeah, I think I would just take back in the traditional way with the h-pawn. So let's just take back. So we do threaten to push up and hit two pieces. Excuse me. It feels okay to take this pawn, but you can imagine with the bishop and the queen on this diagonal, it could become a problem, but it feels okay. Otherwise, I can just maybe try and push on and then trade everything off here. But there is an immediate threat on the board, so he's dropped back. Yes, if I take now, he's got this, and the bishop is on the diagonal, so I don't think I should do that. So I'm more looking at pushing the pawn on and even going an extra one, or just trading. So if I push and he counters, I guess I can push here. So maybe I should just take first then. Probably go with a c pawn. Yeah, I'm going to take first. I think I should probably push this one on. And again, he can't take now because of the queen pin. And I'm threatening just to march the pawn up the board. Here, I can just drop back. Obviously, we've got options, but f6 is the natural square. I'm just trying to play simple, basic chess. Keep it simple, nothing fancy, and just try and avoid blunders if I can. So we've got, what, 6 pawns each. We've just got an exchange, haven't we? A rook against a bishop. So is it time to push here? Queen across. I don't actually see any breakthrough, so I'm more looking at take, then rook across. He could defend here, I guess, but then I can activate my other rook. It might be a good move to push here, but queen across, I don't see it, so I'm going to take. Then rook across, assuming he goes with a pawn. Okay, he has, so I'm just going to play rook across quickly, pressure the pawn. I assume rook across, and I'll try and activate this rook. Okay, he has. So let's activate the rook. He's getting a bit low on time now. He'll have to quicken up soon. See, there's no immediate concrete threat. I've just got to watch out for ideas like this. Got to still pay attention. So knight in is a move to hit the rook. And then I guess if he moves anywhere, say even hits the knight, can I just simply take? Queen takes, rook takes. We're threatening to pin, so it looks to be a good move. There's a knight check threat, but the queen covers it. But I think knight in looks to be a good move. It stops the queen coming here as well. And it also hits the rook. And if I need to, I can come back here. So I like the look of that. I'm going to play knight up and hit the rook and try and collect this pawn. I'd love to get the queen off the board now to remove that little bit of extra risk just in case. But he has gone across quickly. So take, take, take. Now say bishop back. Rook up. If he takes, I take the rook. And if he takes, I take the rook that way. So I think it's a move. So I'm going to play it. If I'm blundering, I'm blundering. I've done it now. But he is under a minute, so you'll have to figure it out quickly if I have blundered. Or here, I guess I've just got knight check actually, haven't I? Yeah. Knight check is a serious threat. That just wins on the spot if he misses it, and he has missed it. So I'll just throw in a check, and that should kill the game. And it does. So that felt like a pretty decent game. Let's see how we played it in the engine language. Not easy when you've got a big rating gap, so not a bad effort by opponent, but let's see how we actually played it. I got a whole 1 rating point for that as well. So we had 32 moves. So they're the move times for both players. Let's just see what it was in engine language. Yeah, we have blundered early on, haven't we? We've blundered here. So what did we do? We played it pretty good the whole game long, but it's the accuracy has come down with that 85% versus 78, CPL 31 and 54. So we've thrown a blunder in on move 11. So queen to c7 was a blunder. I can just see it here. An opponent has blundered back by not punishing it. So we'll just flick through that. But this opening was all okay. So knight e5. And yeah, I should have actually dropped the bishop back. I looked at that, but knight takes. It doesn't give the further line, that's all it gives. So I guess you could just play queen up here. Or you could gain a queen, lose a queen, gain a pawn. That was the line I was looking at the time, wasn't it? Yeah, so that was obviously fine. That was the way to do it. So in this position, he should have taken here. Oh, he's undermined the bishop. I've lost a piece. Oh, can I drop back though? So I've lost a piece. We attack the queen. Oh, and then he takes another piece. Could be 3 pieces for a queen. Okay, I miscalculated there. He's got 3 pieces for a queen. And that's very balanced. So let's get to the end of the line. I should have advanced my pawns. I'm not sure I would have done that, but that's the right engine line. And what's the eval? It's +2 for white. So we've got a bishop each, a rook each, and then a queen versus a rook and 2 knights. I just missed that concept. That's something I need to check for future games. So still in the game, but difficult. So we've made a blunder there, but thankfully it was our only blunder. So we should have trusted our instincts and dropped the bishop back here. So that's very useful to know, because obviously the bishop was under attack. Other than that, we then got comfortable. Won the exchange here, and it's then just a case of trying to convert it without messing up. Or here, I should have just again ignored this. I looked at that as well. I should have just pushed the pawn on. Takes, and it must be okay. Must be okay. Then I'm just trying to get the queen off the board towards the end, and then we've seen a nice check. That opponent simply missed it, and then we're just going to collect the rook on the following move. So it is what it is, but not a bad effort there, so well done.